the street across from the noisy place with the aspen leaf-shaped swinging doors was an establishment with a plant mister that puffed out little bursts of atomized water for a sign. Walk right in and take a seat. The one pruner there was working with a very large broccoli-topped male. He was wildly studded with briars, asking if she thought blunting his thorns was really what he ought to do. He wanted to be more social, but how much of himself should he give for it? After all, we all green and we all pot ourselves one root at a time, don't we? Wing and the cutter exchanged interested looks. Wing understood his, but couldn't figure hers. She was very pretty. The fact that she had plant characteristics only tasty tantalized. Standing, wearing a petal of a thing that was slight and tiny, a lot like her. The hint of a dress shaped itself around 3 stiffly plump, self-supporting breasts, their nipples bulging out and up, the middle one slightly lower than the other 2. Together they stretched a wide, shallow triangle across the front of her garment. The large male moaned on, seeking reassurance from her about his display, which she graciously gave. "Oh, sir, when I think of being downwind of your pollen, I do tend to cloud the air at the time, I do. It's unfortunate that we need so little." "That bothers me, comments like that. What do you mean? Making the bees fly with a heavy burden is what we do, and the bees that come to me barely make it up into the air." Roaring laughter to prove his point. "Both our sexes are changing at the same rate, just differently. You're a few flowerings from losing all your old human. Mark my words, your developmental delay doesn't mean that we males aren't real progressed pollen producers. You'll be more appreciative of the cloud soon. I'm sure, as a perennial of all the many seasons of my own seeding of plant to pollen to flower to seed to plant again forward to time is my life." Sounded sincere, but then why would she whisk a whispering wink at Wing? She knew that in her shop there now sat one of the before plant people humans, one who was now like they were. The big braggart she tended was right. For whatever reasons, the same zip war influences causing changes everywhere else had drifted over Midway, and all these plant lovers had started turning to plants. The women, though, retained some interesting old human parts and dreams that the males had long ago lost. Still, the males were their key to seed, and there was no leaving the life that the wars-induced evolution was now making for them. But at the same time, the female's desire for that older way survived at a time that was becoming more and more unwilling to give it, while the males were unsuccessfully not being able to be contemptuous over the women over that third breast. When human two-partner sexuality was being biologically lost to both sexes, the women's physiology not only would not give up the parts, damned if they didn't develop a third breast, a puzzle that was a subliminal sliver for their culture. Well, she just looked like a wonderfully beautiful green woman to Wing, waiting, glancing around, trying to occupy his eyes with something that did not make his mouth look like it belonged to an idiot, but there wasn't. No need to open the magazines to know he didn't want to read them. The place was without a roof, but it had very few windows to look out. Not realizing he had re-looked at the green lady, she did a double-eyed double blinkety-blink wink dope-slap blink at him, laughing as it startled. Her movements intrigued. Sharp inhale when she had to get up on the toe of one foot to reach a shoot of the plant she tended, balancing as she leaned, the other leg straight, his foot moved out and stirring like a plumb bob at the end of a string. She kept peeking at him. Was it to see him or to see him seeing her? The thick stalk in the chair never took his eyes off his reflection. But just as she finishes, the male does notice. "You've got one of those marks on your arm, too. Did you feel tired the next day?" "All 4 times. And this last one came before the one before it healed. It wouldn't matter. All the creatures like to suck on us." Didn't intend to react with a rash cough, but did, and the patron noticed him for the first time. He studied the man for a moment. "Not progressed at all," he expressed. "A real primitive." "Yes," the lady stuttered. That's the kind that kept their stamens in their shorts." Well, the customer paid and made his next appointment and was accompanied to the door. She shut it behind him and pulled the few shades there were, turning quickly with a spry, fun spin that lifted the rim of her fluttering fabric out. Facing, they fixed on each other's eyes, fooled around a bit, found something. "We're properly closed right now, but you're a stranger and wouldn't know that. I've got the time and would love to tend you. My name is Dew. Oh, and look at you, all sandy dirty. You need to be dusted and you want to get cleaned up. Would love to trim that beard back out. Can I do you?" "Thank you. Well, how do you do? And just let me check my pacemaker, baby." had come a long way for a haircut, and it looked like he was about to get one. He was a little distracted by a scratch from a blackbird above. It could have been Raven laughing, stuck his middle finger up to the sky, and Dew looked up too. She looked back at him, giggling, moved her right index finger in and out of a circle she made with the index finger and thumb of her left hand. No, I'm sorry, I mean the bird. It's been generations for us. There must be so many things about this that longings and books don't tell you. Explain the need for the bird, please. No. He's not a bird. He's a friend of mine and he's teasing me. We don't need a bird. I mean, my name is Wing. I'm a traveler. I'm very pleased to be in your shop and to meet you, Dew. She smiled a wide, lovely smile, flushed with relief and pleasure. Would you like a disinfectant first? Do you use water and scrub? I can. Yes, I'd love a shampoo, please. Quick rearrangement of the furniture. Sit this guy down. Wing already had his hat off and held it in his hands. She took it from him and placed it on a shelf and returned to where she had seated him. First, she filled both her hands, rubbing fingers on the untended man, assessing needs. She moved in close and brushed his hair around. How do you like it? How about, I adjust the pH, refresh the cambium, weed out some of the hung roots, tend and trim it just a little, can make it shiny and rich too, and maybe a little fuller. Would you like that? Leaned over low enough for the bobbing head to bounce the middle boob up and down. Oh, that was a yes. She stepped up and pulled at his tie. Once off, she wrapped it around the brim of his hat, turned, fiddled with the jacket lapels curiously. Why do you shade yourself so? It can be rough out there in the wild, and my rig don't have a cover. Odd realization, she wasn't barefooted. How do you make your clothes? Asked as she removed his jacket and opened his collar. Actually, they're grown. On you as a part of you? Well, grown on us, yes, but it can all defoliate. With a flick of each foot, left then right, the shoes were flung off her feet, landing to sit neatly side by side under a chair. With no more concern than someone showing you their stamp collection, she reached up over her head. There must have been a tiny-toothed invisible zipper, because she pointed both her elbows straight up, her left one slightly higher. With the hand on that arm, she grabbed the collarless seam and lifted. As she did, the right hand opened the garment, relaxing the size of the opening that had surrounded her neck. The hem rose as she raised and further unzipped, before letting it fall to her shoulders. A bit of a shimmy smoothed it out over her. Then her front came out through stressed material as she extended both hands behind her, continuing carefully, cautiously, calmly, one hand to hold, the other to move the zipper further down her back to the top of her bottom. With arms returned to her sides, a moment was given to motionlessness before crossing them to place fingertips on opposite shoulders. The inch-by-inch seesaw pulled the garment off one, and then the other, and then on down the upper body till the arms were out of the short sleeves. With wiggles and shakes, the dresses helped over her hips, then falls, held from going to the floor by her left hand. Bending forward a little as hopped the right foot out of the lowered right side, sweep it to the left, bend of the knee, slight twist of the back, and it is swept from the kicked up left foot, carefully not touching the floor, holding it high by both shoulders. A couple of wrinkle-releasing shakes, fold down the midline, then at the waist over a chair that is sitting nearby as useless as Wing. It was off. Under, she wore only herself.